We are waiting on the mayor to arrive. And he says he's on the way, so. Thank you. So, here we are, again, doing this same kind of thing, dealing with the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. The city of Norman, the Norman residents, telling them, no more turnpikes. Get it? This will be the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th time we've done this. The first time I did it was in 1999. Then the city council did it again in 2022. Then they did it 2 times. What was it, last year and the year before? So here we are again. Will the OTA ever get it? The people of Norman do not want the turnpikes. I feel like we've been invaded by Attila the Hun and the marauding hordes of barbarians who have come into our town to tell our people where they can live, what kind of house they can live in, where they can put their family, how much their house is worth. So how does that work with the United States of America, where we're supposed to have truth, justice, liberty? You know, come on. It's time for it to stop. And so, with those cheerful words, I'm going to introduce Mr. Stephen Holman and see what he has to say.
Well, just want to thank you all for being here, and thank all these residents and supporters in Norman for this cause. I just want to make it very clear that in my recent campaign running for mayor of Norman, this issue was the #1 thing that I heard at the doors. Not just in rural East Norman or North Norman where this is supposed to go, but all over Norman. People are concerned about this. And the overwhelming feedback that I have heard from Norman residents consistently for the last 3 years is that we do not want this in Norman. We don't want it. That it will not improve traffic in Norman, it will not benefit Norman residents, and it has the potential to cause serious harm to the rural character of Norman, to the Lake Thunderbird watershed, to wildlife, to the environment overall. There are just so many negative aspects of this. And yesterday, we had a meeting, we had an update on the regional long-range regional transit plan for central Oklahoma. And I noted this, that just the cost of this south extension alone could more than pay for the entire long-range regional transit plan, almost twice over. And those solutions are what will actually reduce traffic on I-35 and make it safer, not just toll roads. There is evidence all across the country, historic evidence, that adding more highways and more toll lanes does not reduce traffic. It increases traffic. It promotes unsustainable development patterns and induces sprawl and results in higher maintenance costs for cities like Norman and taxpayers in Cleveland County to do maintenance on adjacent infrastructure that supports these types of toll roads. So, I just want to be very clear, as mayor of Norman, I 100% stand behind our residents who are fighting to keep their homes. I support our state representatives who have spoken out on this and who are demanding accountability and transparency from the OTA. And as mayor, I will continue to support any effort that we can take to resist this project coming into our city. I've not guaranteed anybody that we'd be able to stop it. I didn't go on the campaign trail telling everybody, if you vote for me, I guarantee we'll stop it. But I did guarantee that as mayor, I will always have our residents back on this issue, first and foremost. So, I appreciate all of you being here. I look forward to hearing some more of the information, but I just want to be clear that we are not going to stop fighting this in Norman. We are going to fight this till the very end. And even if we're not able to stop it, this will be the biggest fight that OTA has ever had to deal with. And it will change how they do business going forward in the rest of the state. So that even if they are able to get through here, maybe we're able to stop them from doing it to other communities in the future. So, thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Ward 5 Councilman Brandon Noswire, the new guy.
I'm just going to start this off by saying that I know I haven't been a councilman for very long, but I've been fighting the turnpikes since they originally came into Norman. Her announced that they were coming into Norman, and that's never going to stop. As long as they're coming through, I and we, the citizens of Norman, are going to continually push back, and we're going to try and make it consistently, fiscally unfeasible to put this turnpike in. We will never give up, and we will never back down from them.
Dr. Tassie Hirschfeld.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I especially want to thank the media for continuing to cover this story. We're going on several years now. I'm getting to know a lot of you by name, and really appreciate that this is still at the top of your interest. I don't have prepared remarks. I'm just going to speak from the heart a little bit because I feel like that aspect of our story is important and it needs to be recorded. The first announcement of the Access Turnpikes in February 2022, I can say now with 3 years of perspective, was one of the cruelest things that has ever happened to me personally and that has ever happened to the people who lived in the path of those highways. It was an ambush, there was no warning, and everything I have learned about these projects since that time confirms my initial response that this is a completely out-of-control transportation agency. They do not care about the harm they do to people. They never apologize for the harm that they have done to communities in the past. And having now spent 3 years researching through newspaper archives what happened with the Creek Turnpike, the Kickapoo Turnpike, it was atrocious. Those people never recovered from that trauma, from the stress, and from that feeling of being robbed. And that, I think, is what keeps us all motivated to continue in that fight. There is an injury to your heart and soul when someone comes for your home. In my case, it was recently after the death of my husband. He was an artist. He designed and built our home. It was special to me in a way that no other place I ever lived will be. And all of the people who are standing behind me have similar stories to tell. It's not my story, it's our story. And until we get public officials who understand and respect our attachment to properties, our commitment to the government, our insistence on transparency and honesty, which we have had none of from the Turnpike Authority, we are not going away at all. I know that we are profoundly annoying to them at this point. In all of their public comments, they say, well, the Supreme Court ruled, so this is over, right? You need to go home. That's not the case. It was wrong when they did it in 2022. It's even more wrong now, and I am absolutely committed to staying with this group wherever the fight may take us. So, thank you.
State Representative Annie Mans, are you here? You're up.
Can everyone hear me okay? Great. I'm State Representative Annie Mins. I represent House District 45, that's East Norman. And I'm here with you today because a group of my constituents asked me to come and share some thoughts. And I get to do a lot of things on behalf of my constituents, including fighting for private property rights, which is something I'm proud to do. And another thing, for example, earlier this month, I was invited to a small rural school out east of town, much smaller than the one that we're in front of right now, to participate in a career day. And I was with elementary school classes and some middle school classes, and while I was there, I was just explaining to them, what the function of a state representative is, and just the basics, and why we have 101 members. And they said, Rep. Annie, why are there so many? And I said, well, the needs of some areas of the state are different than the needs of others. The values are different in some places than they are in other places in Oklahoma. And I used the turnpike as an example. And as soon as I said the word turnpike, in every single class I spoke to that day, I saw little hands go up all over the classroom. Most of them just wanted to tell me that they and their families are worried about their homes and their farms. They were asking me, why don't we know exactly where it's going to be? Why don't we know exactly how much it's going to cost? Why can't we know these things? Miss Annie, what's going to happen to our school? And I'm not ashamed to admit that after that career day event, I went back to my car and I cried. Because as if it's not hard enough for kids to be kids these days, now they have to worry about something like this. And every single time there's a press release or an announcement or an event, and we see those 3 words OTA, it traumatizes people, including children. So I thought today, whenever I was invited to come and speak, that I would bring forward the voices of my constituents who can't vote yet. They would want me to tell you to help them protect their homes, protect their neighbors, their churches. Please don't take their school. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. And our final speaker, please welcome State Senator Mary Boren.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you all for being here. It's been my honor to represent the people of Senate District 16. In 2022, I learned, along with them, on the same day that their homes were being targeted by the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. And they quickly educated me about how this came about. I learned about the 30-year-old history related to the Turnpike. 30 years ago, back in the 90s, the Turnpike Authority declared that the Turnpike was dead in Norman. It's documented. It's in newspapers. It's in, y'all can do your research. It's out there. They said, we heard the people. They don't want it here. The Turnpike is dead. But somehow it resurrected between then and now. And what happened in the 90s, the legislators from Norman went to the Transportation Committee and they had a bill to take out the word Norman from the Turnpike Authority to build turnpikes. And Senator Gene Stitt at that time stepped in the way and kept that from happening. So we're here today as the fruit and the ambition and the corruption of Gene Stitt. This is why we're here today. And what's happened, it's our turn now. We had people back then that were trying to fight the corruption that happens in road building, and especially the turnpike system in Oklahoma. So it's our turn now to protect Oklahomans, all Oklahomans, every zip code, every house, every home, every precinct, from having a corrupt system that prioritizes bondholders over sound economic policy and sound transportation policy. There are reams of plans that were disregarded to advance this plan. The only reason that this bad plan has the power that it has behind it is because of the funding mechanism that is underneath it. And it's wrapped up in abuse of power, abuse of privilege, and abuse of access to power. And if we did transportation right, this plan would never have been considered. And I want to remind everybody knows, I hope y'all know, that I'm a Democrat. But it's the Republican platform. It's the Republican platform that had to stop the turnpike in it. And there's a reason why they put it in their platform. It's because when they put it in the platform, they understood it's very hard to hold government accountable for taxpayer dollars with the mechanism and the way that the turnpikes are funded and the votes that are necessary to get it funded. If you all have been following what the Turnpike Commission and the OTA and the board have been doing since 2022, and we've had evidence, they have rubber stamped almost every vote since its inception. I think there's been maybe a handful of no votes since its inception. So you can't hold an organization that doesn't hold itself accountable. And that's what these people are here. When you see these signs, this is what accountability looks like in Oklahoma. It's bipartisan and it's people-led. And I'm more than proud here today to stand with them to hold Oklahoma government accountable.
Thank you, Senator Boren. We're looking for change. We're looking for big change. It's time for the OTA to back off and ditch their plans for toll roads in Norman, because we're just not going to have it. We're tired of saying no, but we're going to keep saying it until they stop. So thank you guys for coming out. Have a fantastic day. Please hang around and speak to the speakers and whoever else. There are a lot of people here that you can talk to, and they're all very knowledgeable about this subject. Yes. Questions? Do you have questions?
Yes. The OTA claims that this group is spreading misinformation to the homeowners. What is the response?
The question was, the OTA claims that we are spreading misinformation. What is my response? What misinformation? Show me some. Show me some. We document everything. We are so cotton-picking meticulous about documenting what we do. And I'm not a professional researcher, but I have learned how to do it. So, would you like to talk about that, Kelly? This is Kelly Wilson, Turnpike fighter extraordinaire.
Just to clarify, which information did the OTA say was misinformation?
They claimed one of the things was that someone said that this meeting today, the open house would be canceled. What?
I had not heard that. I'm not sure. No one in our group was sharing that it was going to be canceled, and I don't know. Anybody? So I know that the authority has, from time to time, has said that our group has shared misinformation about the property that was taken. And so I just wanted you guys to know I actually brought a printout of a spreadsheet that we put together. Every case that went to condemnation on the Kickapoo is documented on there. And it is labeled as such that, so as right-of-way progresses, if they don't come to an agreement with the Turnpike Authority, then the Turnpike Authority will take it to condemnation, file it in district court. Then they will appoint 3 commissioners who will give an award. They will value the property. They will say what their award dollar amount is, and then they deposit that with the court. And then that's when the Turnpike Authority officially takes the property. But the Turnpike Authority, I noticed, Terry and Deere said in one of the last newspaper articles that once it's in the court system, it's out of their hands, but that's actually not true, because if you look through all of those court documents, you see the Turnpike Authority actually continues to negotiate with the landowners, and some of them actually come out ahead from what the commissioner offer was, and then some of them go ahead and take the commissioner's offer, and some of them go ahead and ask for a jury trial, and they take it all the way to the jury trial. And that's probably the part where the Turnpike Authority thinks that we're sharing this information, is that it seems to us, and you can see this in the documentation, looking through the court documents, that the juries usually come back with an award a lot higher than what the commissioner award was. So the proof is kind of in the pudding. So I'll share those spreadsheets with you guys, and you can look up the documents. If you look at that agreed journal entry at the very end of the docket, it lists a history of the case. And they'll list the amount that was offered. A lot of times they'll say what the Turnpike Authority originally offered the client or the property owner, and then what the commissioner's award was, and then what the jury amount was. yada yada, whatever they settled. So that's a really good place to start. If you guys have any questions about what really is going on with these property owners. So.
Here. Thank you.
Since this tollway was passed by the state Supreme Court, what is your next step?
We're going to keep doing what we do. I'm going to challenge the news media to start fact-checking the OTA. You guys fact-check the crap out of us, which you should. Time to start fact-checking the OTA. Don't just accept what they say as it's the gospel. So, enough said on that. Any other questions? Said none. Going once, going twice.
Okay, fine.
Can I respond to your what next? You're asking what's next.
Yeah.
Does the Supreme Court ruling in the matter? It doesn't. The plaintiffs were different. The map was different. They didn't have a chance to go and plead their case. So they don't have the same standing. We have new plaintiffs. That's one. That's not the end of it. Secondly, their return on investment for the bondholders assumes that only less than 5% would go to eminent domain. You look at this crap. You think more than 5% are going to go to eminent domain? That changes the return on investment. Meaning, if there are more plaintiffs that go fully to eminent domain, then they have to go back to the bondholders and determine how they're going to pay for this messed up system that they have. And that's when you get cost overrides and all of that. Plus, in November 2026, we will elect a new governor. We're only talking 14 months away. And the OTA needs to come to tell y'all how confident are they that the next governor is going to support this scheme. Because that's a huge variable right there. We have an election, we have new plaintiffs, and we have a different return on investment that they're having to calculate with the folks here that are demanding that the state of Oklahoma and the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority be held accountable.
Thank you, Mary. And guys, here, I'm going to grab that little microphone from you. If you want to fact check Mary, go ahead. She's an attorney. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to this stuff. But please, I mean, one of the things that I gained great respect for when I first started doing this kind of work was that one of the leaders said, don't believe me. Don't believe what I say. Believe it because you've checked it out for yourself. And that's what we've been doing for 3.5 years, and I think that's one of the things that makes the OTA so squirmy. So, if you have another question, please go right ahead. Oh, here's Kelly.
One other thing that I would like to address is that it's come to my attention that the Turnpike Authority often says that they will work with the landowners, and they don't need to hire an attorney because that will just suck part of their settlement into attorney fees. But I just want everybody to know that just because you hire an attorney does not necessarily mean that you're going to court. It means that you have an advocate to counsel you, to let you understand what your rights are, and make sure that none of them are being violated, and that you are, in fact, receiving just compensation. I have open records requested some documents from some landowners that have already sold out to the Turnpike Authority. I have no issues with them. I'm not holding that against them. Everybody has to do what they need to do that's best for them. But this landowner was able to detail and document all of the reasons why she felt her property was worth more than what the Turnpike Authority had offered her. I want you guys to know the original offer was less than half what she ended up with. And she did eventually hire an attorney to help her. But she also had to consult a CPA. She had to go out and get her own comps. She had to request a copy of the appraisal report. They did not just automatically provide that to her at the time they gave her the offer. I have actually spoken with some other residents who have received an offer, and obviously their house has been appraised. And when we looked through the appraisal documents, because they actually did have to request that as well,
there were a lot of pages missing. Over half of it was missing. So why is that? Why were not all the pages included? So the landowner has an opportunity to see exactly how they value the property. So anyway, so I just wanted to make those points that landowners should probably look into hiring somebody to counsel them through the process.
Well, let's see. I think I'm going to wrap up that question. You've heard of the phrase "kill the messenger"? That's what the OTA's been trying to do with us, because they've run out of ideas of things to say to counter what we're doing. Are there any homeowners here? Any homeowners there? There are a couple. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and let me say something about that. Everybody in the city of Norman is affected by the turnpikes. Not just the people whose houses are going to get bulldozed down. They just have an extra measure of suffering. But everybody in the city of Norman is affected. But in fact, everybody in the state of Oklahoma is affected by what would end up being a $20 billion project, not $8 billion. Because you got to add in the interest and the service on the debt. And that takes that $8 billion to almost 20. So fact check it. I mean, come on. Let's go. But they've run out of ways to discredit what we're saying, and so now they're just going to start attacking us personally, which they have done already. So, any other questions? Please. Is there a lawsuit in the works? There are plans. That's about all I can tell you. But yeah, stand by, because it's going to get exciting. As if this was not exciting enough. I'll tell you what's weird is when I go to a Turnpike Authority meeting and I'm standing next to a big shot Turnpike Authority guy, and he turns around and he goes, "Dave Moore." And I just said, you know what's weird is that you even know my name. That's what's weird. I bet you don't know the names of all these other people that are out here, but you know me. Why is that? Well, it's because I got a big mouth and I'm not afraid to use it. But truth is truth, and facts are facts, and people deserve a lot more consideration than what they've been getting. So we're out of time, so we're going to wrap this thing up, and I think after a while we're going to wander over and see what the OTA is up to. Thank y'all for coming out. And be sure to grab some people and have some one-on-one talks with them. That's why they're here.